Hey everyone, today I wanted to make a video kind of going over the main things that I found while testing the brand new Hunter exotic boots, the Star Eater scales, since yesterday was the first time that you could get these from the Legend Lost sector. So right here, as you can see, the exotic purse is called Feast of Light, and it says you gain additional super energy from orbs of power you pick up. While your super energy is full, picking up an orb of power overcharges your super, causing you to gain a burst of healing when cast and a bonus to super damage. At maximum overcharge, you also gain an overshield. The main tests I conducted aimed to see how much super energy I was getting both with and without the boots, and how much the Star Eater scales were boosting my super damage. Since I was by myself, I didn't do anything too fancy with the super generation part. I just tried to quickly get 5 orbs of power both with and without the boots, as well as with a thresh weapon. In pretty much every case, I was noticeably getting more super when using the boots, although by far the fastest way to get super was with a Masterworks weapon with Thresh. I did a number of damage tests using the boots in various different Hunter supers. Both Golden Gun and Arc Staff showed that for each stack of Feast of Light you have when you use your super, you gain a 15% damage buff that lasts the duration of your super. Because the Feast of Light buff stacks up to 4 times, this means you can get up to a 60% increase in damage for your super. This actually allows the Star Eater scales to do more total damage with Bottom Tree Golden Gun than a Celestial Nighthawk shot, but only by about 16%, and you have to land all 3 headshots in a row, whereas Nighthawk allows you to just pop once and you're done. When comparing Arc Staff with Feast of Light ×4 to Raid Influx's Synapse Junctions perk, I found that Raid Influx only gains up to approximately 48.6% more damage from its super, but because you can extend your super duration for so long by literally just continuously hitting enemies, I feel like Raid Influx is the better exotic for the super overall in most situations. When trying Tether, I got the same roughly 15% increase in Bottom Tree's damage per shot for every stack of Feast of Light I had when I cast the super, although there was one case in which my first Tether shot didn't do additional damage despite me having Feast of Light. I'm not completely sure why that is, but looking at the footage seemed to indicate that it's possible being invisible when casting super delays the damage increase from Feast of Light. Again, I couldn't find a conclusive answer for this. I also ended up trying Top Tree Tether and comparing the damage I did from a normal Summoner headshot to a Summoner headshot when I tethered Carl here at Feast of Light ×4. At ×4, I was doing a whopping 108% more damage per shot than usual, and while I initially believed that this was me buffing the Tether debuff, I came to realize that what was actually happening was that my own damage was being buffed and Carl was being tethered at the same time. Tether itself increases damage by 30% because of the debuff, and Feast of Light ×4 increases your damage by 60%, which mathematically works out to a total 108% increase in damage, but only for the person using the Tether, since the Star Eater scales only buff the user's damage, and you're just debuffing whatever enemy it is you're damaging. But what's interesting about this is that this indicates the boots don't really care whether you're using your super for damage. You simply gain a buff to all damage you deal for as long as your super lasts, which in Tether's case means your weapon damage as long as your Tether is still up. So assuming this is the case, you could actually probably miss your Tether entirely and still gain a 60% buff to all your weapon damage until your Tether disappears, which is still massively helpful. So overall, I would say, from my experience using the boots, testing them, I would definitely say that the Star Eater scales are a very worthwhile, very useful Hunter exotic, mainly in PvE. I don't see much application for PvP most of the time, maybe as a swap exotic if your teammate generates orbs, but definitely super helpful in PvE. especially with top tree tether. I think that there are a lot of possibilities to just go absolutely ham on damage with that crazy increase in damage on top tree tether, since you can buff your weapons rather than just your super. But that is my thoughts. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.